Wrestling, presented by Rob Johnson Media and the Legacy Maker Sports Network.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the SummerSlam review as we talk pro wrestling here on Gold Standard Wrestling on the Rob Johnson Media and the Legacy Maker Sports Network. Shout out to the exclusive nights, Legacy Maker Sports Network and Rob Johnson Media, where wrestling is number one. Not where this guy works, not Dave LaGreca, but here on the Legacy Maker Sports Network and Rob Johnson Media. You know, I want to address Dave LaGreca this morning. Dave LaGreca said this morning that he doesn't want to see any more storylines from this man right here. Dave LaGreca has some type of beef with The Rock because I guess The Rock came in. You know, The Rock didn't do what he thought The Rock should have done. And, you know, Bully Ray or Bubba Ray or whatever you want to call him, respect Bubba Ray Dudley. Really do. Respect him because of the work he's done in the business. He's done great jobs in the business. He's been one of those guys that is real well respected in the professional wrestling business, but they're going hard at The Rock. And all I can say is know your role and shut your damn mouths. Busted Open Radio talking about The Rock. How dare you spit the name of The Rock? How dare you disrespect The Rock? How freaking dare you disrespect The Rock? Who the hell do you think you are, Busted Open Radio? Who do you think you are, dissing the People's Champ? If you smell what The Rock is cooking, listen. I'll get on The Rock when he does wrong. He wasn't great with that last storyline, but they set it up. What The Rock did was he was able to come in and set that storyline up and make John Cena a bad guy. It's not our fault that John Cena can't do things well. It's not our fault that John Cena couldn't take the bad guy persona and make it great. So to you again, Dave LaGreca, Busted Open Radio, keep The Rock's name out of your damn mouth. Keep The Rock's name out of your mouth. And I'm going to continue to say that because The Rock is what made professional wrestling in the late 90s and in the 2000s. There wouldn't be a Busted Open. There wouldn't be a Gold Standard Wrestling right now if it wasn't for people like The Rock. So please, keep your mouth zipped. You want to bring me on Busted Open Radio? We can discuss this. Because we all know Busted Open is the home of Cody Rhodes and Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair, I lost my smile. You're Ric Flair's daughter. You lost your smile. Who cares? You know, but I'll say this. To the people who post all that crazy stuff about Charlotte Flair, I understand it. You know, you shouldn't be talking bad about somebody like that. But Charlotte, you're supposed to be a professional athlete. You're supposed to be the best of the best. Have to get some tougher skin. You know, you can talk crap to everybody else. Right now, a lot of us rather see Mercedes Moné rather than see you. We have this little group now between you and this little tag team between you and Alexa Bliss. I don't know, man. It's a little frustrating because, like I said, again, Busted Open is the home of Charlotte Flair and the Cody Crybabies. But anyway, let me stop talking about those guys and those girls, especially the one who annoys me on Saturday mornings. But shout out to Busted Open Radio. I do a great job. But again, if you want to debate me, bring me on. I'll debate you. Let's go back to Saturday. Let's talk about what happened on Saturday. So, first match out the blocks. We had Roman Reigns, Jey Uso against Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Good match from bell to bell. I really enjoyed the match. I really thought that both teams did what they were supposed to do. I thought that Roman taking the bullet for Jey in so many instances, as well as that spear towards the end of the match, where Jey was able to get the spear on Bronson Reed and get the high flyer, the high flying Uso to win the match. I thought that was good on Roman Reigns' part. That kind of shows that he is one of the ultimate baby faces in the company. Cody Rhodes still one of the bigger baby faces, but I thought that was a good job on his part. Didn't expect it to be the first match out the gate, but I did think that they did a really good job in performing that match and doing what it's supposed to do. Now, that sets up something later, which I'll talk about later once we get to that point. Now, Raquel Rodriguez, Roxanne Perez against Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. I have to give Flair, even though I'm not a Flair fan, I got to give her credit in this match. She played her role. Alexa Bliss played her role. I expect these two teams to have a rematch here very soon for those tag team championships. I will say this as well. Between Bianca Belair Jade Cargill and the Judgment Day, they've done a really good job of elevating those tag team championships. I said this from the beginning, folks. If you're going to elevate those tag team championships, your stars have got to claim those championships. And when you have an Alexa Bliss, no matter if I'm not a fan or not, this has nothing to do with me being a fan. This is strictly business. If you have Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair holding those titles, that is money. That is something that can go far. That is something that can elevate those titles, just like Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. So it's a good job in WWE, in my opinion, of having them win those championships. Now, next match we had Sami Zayn against Karrion. I believe this is the order. Don't kill me. I'm trying to remember the whole order of the card. But we had Sami Zayn against Karrion Kross. This was kind of more of a passing of the torch of, I'm done with you, Karrion Kross. I've done everything I'm supposed to do. My name is Sami Zayn. I want to move on. I have a killer instinct. He didn't swing the pipe that Scarlett gave to him, but he still did a very good job, a very, very good job, in my opinion, of being ruthless in this match. Sami Zayn goes on to beat Karrion Kross. As you guys know, they fought at Night of Champions. They also fought, I believe it was on Monday Night Raw. So Sami Zayn wins the series 2-1, and hopefully this is the end of it unless they have something else planned. Now, other match we had on the night. Let's see here. Who else did we have? I believe, I'm trying to remember who was next. So we had, I believe it was Tiffany Stratton against Jade Cargill. I'll be honest with you guys. I'll be completely honest. The making and booking of this match was underwhelming. Some reports have come out that they said that Jade Cargill does not have the it factor of a Rhea Ripley. And I can honestly tell you guys that I'm looking at that and I'm trying to understand, what has Rhea Ripley really done in the last couple of months to show us that we would even want Jade Cargill to be on that level? You see, I think that they rushed this match. You look at Tiffany Stratton, I think a lot of people in the back see her as the next, Trish Stratus. So Trish Stratus, Tiffany Stratton, I think they look at her as the next Trish Stratus. And I get it, I understand. But the question is, where does Jade Cargill go from here? Where does Jade Cargill go on the card? Does she slip down? In my opinion, I think that you maybe could save a Jade Cargill for, let's say, for maybe a WrestleMania, maybe. A WrestleMania moment. I think the next big thing for Jade to do is either to win the Royal Rumble or to win the Money in the Bank. I think the biggest thing for Jade Cargill to do is to win the Royal Rumble. This could be with Stepping Stone. This could be one of those things where it's like, man, she didn't win the match in SummerSlam, so now she has to rebuild. Now, could the Women's United States Championship be in her cards? Could Jade Cargill? I don't see her winning the Women's Intercontinental Championship, but I can see her winning the Women's United States Championship. Hold on to that belt, possibly until Jade could hold on to that belt past next year into next year. She could be your first double champion. She could be your first women's double champion of this new era of those belts. It's something to think about. The next thing you need to think about is what is next for Tiffany Stratton. What is next for Tiffany Stratton? And you would have to think that possibly there's a feud somewhere down the line between Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. Charlotte Flair comes out on top. Charlotte Flair ends up getting that title back. Ultimately, the match and I'll tell you this too, the match people keep talking about is Jade Cargill against Charlotte Flair. Where does Bianca Belair, when she comes back, what does she think about that? Everybody's talking about everybody except for Bianca. Everybody's talking about everybody except for Bianca. Could that be something where we could possibly get a rivalry finally between Bianca and Jade? We don't know, but we shall see. I'm waiting to see what they're going to do. I'm just hoping that Jade does not fall too far from the card after this match and after what we saw this past Saturday at SummerSlam. Let's just hope, because Jade Cargill still has a lot of talent. Now, next match, Randy Orton, Jelly Roll against Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul. Shout out to Logan Paul. Shout out to Drew McIntyre. They kicked Jelly Roll's ass. And all I got to do is this. Thank you so much. Thank you. I am so happy that Jelly Roll got his ass kicked up and down that ring. I tell you, man, I am not a Jelly Roll fan. I don't think Jelly Roll belongs in the ring. So shout out to those brothers. Shout out to Logan Paul. Shout out to Drew McIntyre. Shout out for that Claymore. And shout out to that big splash outside the ring. I absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. And, here's the thing, man. I'll say this. If they want to put Jelly Roll in another match, hey, do your thing, brothers. Do your thing. But you know what? At the end of the day, I think that here in WWE, that was a statement made by Drew McIntyre, and it was made by Logan Paul. You don't belong here, and we need to move on to bigger and better things. And that's my point. I look at, guys. You look at Logan Paul. You look at Drew McIntyre. You look at Randy Orton. These guys belong in title pictures, not wrestling with Jelly Roll. I mean, this is some stuff Vince McMahon would do. So speaking of that, speaking of the goal, speaking of all that, let me let you guys know real quick what you're watching from Darrell Owens as he gives you guys one of the best promos ever made.
It's Darrell Owens, Legacy Maker Sports Network, and you're watching Gold Standard Wrestling. Let's go.
For y'all didn't hear it, let me let you hear it again.
It's Darrell Owens, Legacy Maker Sports Network, and you're watching Gold Standard Wrestling. Let's go.
Yep, you're watching Gold Standard Wrestling, the best wrestling show besides the exclusive nights here on the Legacy Maker Sports Network and Rob Johnson Media. Now, let's go to the last match, and without a doubt, and I'm going to bring myself back on camera because I want to make this very, very clear. Without a doubt, the best match of the night and the best match of SummerSlam. Gunther versus CM Punk for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. It had everything. It had slaps. It had punches. It had kicks. It had beatdowns. It had this. It had that. Gunther, one of the best World Heavyweight Champions we've ever seen in WWE, going against CM Punk, who I'm not even gonna say I'm gonna say his real name. Phil Brooks. Phil Brooks, WWE, future Hall of Famer, CM Punk, wrestled his ass off for 25 to almost 30 minutes. He did everything you wanted CM Punk to do in the ring. He looked fit. He looked like he had the stamina. That is CM Punk that we've seen from 10, 15 years ago. That CM Punk is a CM Punk that we want to continue to see. We're going to, and I'll tell you this, guys, and this is going into Monday Night Raw tonight. I want to see a pissed off CM Punk. I want to see a CM Punk that is so mad and angry that he might just get arrested Stone Cold Steve Austin style. We need to see a CM Punk that is just so bitter, so mean, so angry that tonight something crazy happens in that ring or in the backstage. Because what happened immediately after the match was over, we know what happened. Seth freaking Rollins came down with Paul Heyman with the briefcase. Seth Rollins comes out, starts talking his trash. He turns around. He stops. Everybody's go, huh? He throws down the crutches, takes off the knee brace. It looks like a knee brace you would get after injuring an ACL. Jogs down to the ring, beats down CM Punk. After he beats him down, gives the briefcase to the ref. The ref starts the bell, curb stomps him, and your new world heavyweight champion from Davenport, Iowa, Seth freaking Rollins. Seth Rollins did exactly what a lot of people thought he was going to do. But remember, what was it, 10 years ago? The biggest heist of the century? The biggest ruse of the century. Say what you want to about CM Punk. And I'll say this, the group to me got a little better when he was out. But that's a good thing. Because now they can blend it in. They can mash it up. They can cook it real good. And now you got something on your hands. CM Punk, Bronson Reed, and Braun Breaker. Now you got something. And I say this with no hyperbole. CM Punk has so many storylines. Of course, as you know, I listen to Bust Open Radio. I do. I listen to the guys. Listen to you guys. Even though, my here on Legacy Maker Sports Network and Rob Johnson Media, we got better wrestling talk. But hey, shout out to you guys as well. But I will give them credit for this. I was listening to a show this morning. Now, Busted Open, I believe it was one from 10 to, it was another one from like a 12 to 2. And it brought up a good idea. It's something I've been thinking about as well. This World Heavyweight Championship, ladies and gentlemen, has been elevated. Not saying that the Undisputed Championship is underneath it, but I'm saying both titles feel like they are now even in their importance. Remember, we still have not gotten the Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns one-on-one that we need and want and have got to have. So, in my opinion, you save that match. There's so many different things you can do. Of course, CM Punk has to get his rematch. Of course, Rollins is going to face, I think it's inevitable that he's going to have to face LA Knight here soon, because you can't just say LA Knight beat him and nothing happened of it. Something happened, folks. Something happened where LA Knight was either involved, or something happened where, it was a situation where he got tricked just like the rest of us. So here's my thing, folks. And here's when I'm talking about when it comes to Roman Reigns. You let everything play out. Let WrestleMania come on. Let WrestleMania come along. The storyline basically is this, and to me is as simple as this, folks. You can't get any simpler than this. We already know that that Braun Breaker has got next. We already know that Braun Breaker is eventually gonna turn on Seth Rollins. So how do you make that happen? How do you make that happen? And how do you make something where it becomes sort of not a reunion between Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, but you start setting the seeds. You start planting the seeds. Check this out. And it's rumored also that who? Jon Moxley may want to come back to WWE one day. So I'm just saying, just plant some seeds. So here's the thing. WrestleMania comes. You have Roman Reigns face Seth Rollins. He beats Seth Rollins, wins the World Heavyweight Championship, right? Paul Heyman is pissed off because he's like, man, how in the world did you lose to Roman Reigns? He gets his big boy, his bully, his next big thing to attack Seth Rollins. Bronson Reed also attacks Seth Rollins. He really doesn't like Seth Rollins. He's just doing this. Paul Heyman comes up with some type of plan where he says, we used you to get Braun Breaker into the lead role. You helped to mold Braun Breaker, etc., whatever. You add a third member to that group somehow, some way. And you keep Paul Heyman with those guys, with Braun Breaker, with Bronson Reed. Add a third member. After you add that third member, after WrestleMania, somehow, some way, Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns get back together. Could it be possible that Jon Moxley, a.k.a. Dean Ambrose, comes back next year and you have that 3-on-3 at SummerSlam? I mean, not SummerSlam, but at Survivor Series somehow? After months and months, it could happen in 2026. It could happen in 2027. All I'm saying, folks, there's a possibility. There's storyline possibilities. There's so many different things that you can do. But right now, WWE today is more interesting than it was last week. It's more interesting this week than it was last week. The storylines, you got storylines galore. And if you screw it up, that is on you. I can't help you. But you got storylines galore. Now, let's go to night 2. Let's talk about night 2. Let's talk about what happened. Oh, I call this the piss-off match. First match, Naomi versus Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley. The crowd was so hot for Rhea Ripley. They were so hot for Io Sky, and they didn't really want Naomi in the match, you could tell. But guess what? At the end, Naomi told them to proceed with caution. Because guess what happened? Naomi won the match. She pinned Rhea Ripley and won the match. Rhea Ripley's almost in tears. Rhea Ripley was almost in tears. Naomi retains the Women's World Heavyweight Championship. So at the end of the day, what you have to do is you have to understand that Rhea Ripley and Io Sky are really good wrestlers. But at the end of the day, here's the problem. The problem is that when you have a Naomi who's one of the hottest heels right now, you do not stop her run. You do not stop Rhea Ripley. I'm not Rhea Ripley. You do not stop Naomi's run because you want to put the belt back on Rhea Ripley. It's time for Rhea Ripley to go back to the back of the line. It's time for her to reevaluate. Time to refresh her character. So that's what needs to happen, in my opinion, if you want Naomi's heel run to be successful. So that's what you got to do. So, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a quick break, and I'll be right back with you. I'll be right back with you, folks. I'm going to take a quick break. All right, folks, I'm back. I had to step away for a second. Sorry about that. I had to step away. But yeah, you saw the FU solo, right? Yeah. We're gonna talk about that in a second. That was a little prelude. There was a little prelude. We were talking about that in a second. Before we talk about that, let's talk about Becky Lynch versus Liv Valkyria. Really wasn't interested in the match. Didn't like the match. It was okay. Time to put that belt on either. Time to have us a three-way for the belt. Put it on somebody else. I'm tired of Becky Lynch. Not a fan of Becky Lynch. Let's move on. Not a fan of Becky Lynch at all. Sorry. I wasn't interested in the match. Let's talk about the TLC match. I believe that was the second match, but I just skipped way over it. The six-pack TLC match for WWE Tag Team Championships. The YS6 versus Andrade and Ray Phoenix versus DIY versus Fraxium versus Mortar Machine Guns versus Street Profits. I'm going to echo the sentiments here of my guy Larry Patterson. When is it going to be time for Montez Ford to get his run? Some Triple H, whoever, somebody needs to answer me that. Montez Ford has got all the athleticism in the world. Montez Ford has all of the ability in the world. Montez Ford, I believe, has been in WWE, almost a decade now? Almost a decade now. He's 35 years old. He'll be 36 next year. Montez Ford will be 36 next year. Why is it that they always, I don't want to go here. Why is it that they always have the black talents wait until they get older before they start to get an opportunity? And don't say this is a Vince thing, because this is a damn sure Triple H thing too. Why do all the black talents always have to wait till they get to their middle 30s to start doing anything? I don't get it. I don't understand. Montez Ford is the guy that we want to be in the main event scene. What is the difference between Montez Ford and Seth freaking Rollins? They both have the same athleticism. Montez Ford probably a little more. Montez Ford can talk. What is the problem? Anyway, the YS6 won the match. They retained their tag team championships. Anybody calling this the greatest TLC match of all time, the one that the Street Profits had before, I believe where they retained the championships, that match was better. So yeah, we'll go from there. Dominic Mysterio versus AJ Styles, Intercontinental title match. There was an homage in this match to Eddie Guerrero. They did some spots here and there. Dominic Mysterio wins the match by Frog Splash. He retains his Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. Solo Sikoa versus Jacob Fatu. FU Solo. Yep, that's how I felt. This match confused me in a lot of ways because, okay, Jacob hits the moonsault on him twice. Hits the moonsault on him twice. And guess what happens, folks? He kicks out. Was he super solo now? Is he super solo now? Somebody needs to let me know. Is Jacob Fatu no longer the man around here, and Solo Sikoa is super solo? You know, the MFTs get involved, of course. Jacob Fatu beats the guys down after the fact. He goes up top to the to the top of the cage, does a moonsault spot, which I think he should have done in the match. It had been Kurt Angle-like when he faced Chris Benoit back on Monday Night Raw. I believe it was in 99, 2000. It would have been a good spot there to end the match and have him win the title back. Now, why are they saving this? Is Jacob going to win the U.S. title later? Is Jacob going to get into the world title picture? I don't know. What I do know is they did a good job here of saving, not saving, but kind of saving face, not pinning Jacob, but having Solo just get out of the cage. That's 2 wins now that he owns over Jacob Fatu. It doesn't make Jacob look weak. That's one thing you don't want. You don't want Jacob Fatu to start to look weak. He's still a very good competitor, very intense performer. I thought he was a little more intense when he was a heel when he first started out. He's got a little more comfortable, which is a good thing, can be a bad thing. I don't know. Like I said, if you go back to Night of Champions, that's where Jacob lost the title back on June 28th to Solo Sikoa. So, Solo wins. We go to what? The main event of the night. We go to John Cena against All-American Cody Rhodes. Some say this was a great match. Some say this was a 5-star, 10-star match. I give it 4 stars. I think it was a good match. I don't think it was a great match. I think that what they did was right. Cody won the match. We get back, babyface John Cena. And after the match, John's getting ready to leave. And what happens? The beast comes out. Brock Lesnar, looking bigger than ever, comes out, beats down John Cena, gives him the F5. And that's how we end SummerSlam. So, tonight on Monday Night Raw, I want to see some good things on Monday Night Raw. I want to see Raw just start giving us storylines as we get to Paris, as we get to the other PLEs that are down the line. Because clearly, folks, we're going into September, we're going to fall. After August, we're going into September. The road to the Royal Rumble starts now. Let me repeat that, folks. After the Clash in Paris, the road to the Royal Rumble starts. And we start itching closer and closer. Whenever football season comes, wherever football season comes and ends, you know that you're not on the road to WrestleMania when football season starts. But when football season ends in February, you know that we are on the road to WrestleMania. So again, when Clash of Paris ends, I believe at the end of this month, which is August the 31st, and we get into September, we are on the road to the Royal Rumble. And we are also itching closer to the road to WrestleMania. So it's that time of year where storylines have to start taking place. It's that time of year where things need to start coming into fold, so we can know what's going to start happening, appearing to happen as we get closer and closer to that greatest time of the year, the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. It's almost here, folks. Wrestling fans, rejoice. Shout out to everybody out there who does wrestling talk. Shout out to everybody who loves the world of professional wrestling. This has been Gold Standard Wrestling, Episode 3. The revamped Gold Standard Wrestling, Episode 3. SummerSlam Review. Rob Johnson Media, Legacy Maker Sports Network.